Husk Power System, which is the rural clean energy services leader in Africa and Asia and operator of the largest fleet of community solar microgrids in India, this week announced the successful close of $4.2 million debt financing from the India Renewable Energy Development Agency. Now, besides the IRED alone, Husk Power is looking to raise an additional $18 million in debt in this new year and planning to build a robust project pipeline in India and across the African continent. And of course, that will include Nigeria. William Brent is the Chief Marketing Officer at Husk Power Systems, and he joins me now to discuss this tonight. Good evening. It's good to see you. Congratulations on this new funding round.
Good evening. Yeah, thanks so much for having me this evening.
It's good to see you. Tell me more about this funding deal with the Indian development agency. How was it structured?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the denomination in dollars. It was actually denominated in Indian rupee, and I think that's actually an important element of the debt. It was 310 million rupee in debt from IREDA. And that's important because maybe just back up for a second, for companies like Husk that have been building microgrids for more than a decade now, it's been very difficult to raise affordable long-term debt. It's a nascent market. Commercial finance has been wary to come in. They've seen it as too high risk. And so for a company like Husk, what we've been forced to do, and many of the other companies in the industry, is to actually fund the projects from our balance sheet using equity. That's not normal in infrastructure projects. Typically, you'd use debt finance to fund your projects as you go and the equity to build the company overall. So this is an important milestone for the industry, but also for Husk and the ability to actually start to see affordable long-term tenor debt coming into the market, and it's an important milestone. I can't talk about the specific terms of the debt, but it's an important point that it's long-term and much more affordable, so that we're no longer required to use our own equity to fund these projects.
Interesting development there. How significant, however, is this funding deal for you folks at Husk Power Systems? How much more would you be able to do on the ground within the Indian economy?
So the funding was, as you mentioned, 310 million rupee to build 140 microgrids. We have a fleet of about 140 right now. So that's essentially, as many as we have times two. So it's an important, it allows us to scale much more rapidly than we would have otherwise been able to. And this is just the start, as you mentioned. We're going to be raising about 18 million additional US dollars in debt this year. And that's intended to help us scale from where we are today about 10x by 2025, 2026. So from 140 to hopefully about 1,400 mini-grids by that time.
Okay, well, your company recently signed an energy compact with the United Nations. What does it involve in terms of the deliverables?
So this is something that was initiated by SE for All, Sustainable Energy for All, which is an affiliate of the United Nations, run by a woman who's originally from Nigeria, in fact. And what they've done is try to encourage governments, private sector, other entities to sign on to these UN energy compacts and put forward bold goals for the 2030 timeframe to help meet, in this case, Sustainable Development Goal 7, which is access to modern, affordable, reliable energy for all. And so what Husk Power has done is made a commitment to build 5,000 mini-grids and connect 1 million customers by 2030. It's a voluntary framework, and so it's up to us to self-report each year the progress that we're making. But we set milestones along the path to 2030 that we intend to meet, and we'll be reporting that progress on an annual basis, on a voluntary basis to SE for All in the UN.
Okay, so William, let's talk a little bit more about Africa, your Pan-African projects and financing outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa in 2022. How are you raising funds on the continent? What projects are you doing?
So Nigeria is the main focus for us in Sub-Saharan Africa. There's still, as you know, 80 million people, more or less, who without access to electricity in Nigeria. The government in Abuja has taken a very proactive stance on trying to end energy poverty and make electricity accessible to everybody in the country, and put forward a very vibrant policy and regulatory framework to do that. That's encouraged more and more DFIs, development finance institutions, and commercial lenders and financial institutions to come into the market by providing capex subsidy to developers like Husk. So we entered the market in 2020. We expect to have 30 to 35 microgrids built and operational in the country by the end of this year, another 100 in the next 24 months, and then 500 by 2026. And we wouldn't be able to do that without a regulatory framework that's very encouraging and gives us the confidence to come into the market long term. Part of that also is similar to what you're seeing in India. In Nigeria, you're starting to see local financial institutions start to take a serious look at local currency debt. We have a lot of forex, foreign currency exposure in Nigeria, and that requires us. It can be a problem for some of our other investors to see that level of exposure. And so working with the Rural Electrification Agency, the Nigeria Electrification Project, and other donors and funders who are supporting them, we're seeing a lot more activity on the part of domestic financial institutions to come in. So we're in discussions with a number of them about local currency debt finance. Most of the debt that we're raising this year will be in foreign currency, but I would expect that starting in 2023, we'll start to see more deals done with local Nigerian banks and financial institutions for that type of debt.
What makes projects, solar energy projects in Nigeria attractive for you at Husk Power Systems? In what parts of the country are you delivering? What's your long-term outlook in terms of what you'll be able to put on the ground? The country's energy deficit is so humongous.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we have a 100% local team on the ground in Abuja, about 50 people so far. Our first 6 mini grids are in Nasarawa State, about, 5 or 6 hour drive from Abuja. And we're seeing amazing uptake of those initial microgrids. Typically, if you can achieve a 50% capacity utilization for your microgrids, you're doing well as a starting point. As well, if you can average revenue per user above $10 US per month, you're doing well. And what we're seeing right now is that there's a willingness to pay, an ability to pay on the part of customers, both households and commercial users in the communities that we're in Nigeria. These are all off-grid communities currently, and that's really encouraging. And the impact that you see on the ground, I was there in November to launch these 6 microgrids. The impact is immediate, and also to see businesses transitioning away from diesel generation to solar-powered microgrids and saving 25 to 30% on their monthly energy bill. It's quite an amazing story, and it's only going to scale from here. We're looking at other states in Nigeria. We think there's potential across the country. We'll probably start in Nasarawa and sort of build out from there in concentric circles. But the need is huge, and we're just one company in this space. There's a lot of other domestic microgrid developers, as well as international developers coming into the market. So we're a leader, but we're happy to see that the market's really vibrant and growing quickly.
Yeah, broadly speaking, William, what's your broadly speaking outlook in terms of what your footprints across sub-Saharan Africa? I know you pick Nigeria is very mass in terms of what the energy needs and the number and the population. So tell me more about your sub-Saharan plans.
Yeah, well, we're going to follow the best regulatory and policy frameworks for sure. And also, we built our business on the ability to be long-term sustainable and provide commercial returns for infrastructure assets like these without subsidy. In the case of Nigeria, there is some capex subsidy, and there is also some capex subsidy in other countries in sub-Saharan Africa. But we're looking at countries in West Africa, Liberia, East Africa, like Uganda, Southern Africa, Zambia, and others, to determine where the best frameworks are from a policy perspective, but also, where we feel the political risk is minimal, and there's also additional support from concessional finance coming in. So you'll see us expanding across the region, still to be determined in exactly which countries, but we've got some conversations that have progressed quite far, and I would expect to be in additional countries in Western, Eastern, and Southern Africa in the coming months.
Interesting. William Brent, Chief Marketing Officer at Husk Power Systems. Thank you for making Nigeria your home.